Oh, hi there! Welcome to another episode of the Okanagan Gardener and Forager channel. I was just out in the garden looking at all the lack of gardening and weeding that I've done, and I noticed the catnip is at a really pretty much the perfect stage, I think, for harvesting. So then I thought, well, maybe I should record and talk about it. So you mixed in here, if you can see it, beside the raspberries and the feverfew, it's right here. Catnip. Catnip, the scientific name is Nepeta cataria, and I've made a few videos about catnip, so I'm gonna try to quickly just go over a little bit about it, IDing it in some of its uses. I'll put links to those other videos in case you're interested in watching them, but just briefly, catnip is a member of the mint family, so you can look for its square stem, and the whole plant is covered in little white hairs. You can see them hopefully here on the stem, and then on the leaves, and on the underside of the leaves. I don't know if you can see, but there, the little white hairs. And it has a heart-shaped leaf, triangular or heart-shaped leaf with toothed edges. And it has a very distinct smell. So you can smell it, I think, you know. The flowers grow in clusters at the ends. And it does have a very distinct smell. If you crush up the leaves, you'll smell it more strong. Kind of a sweet, musky smell. I think it smells really good. And catnip is also edible. It is a good source. It's a good source of things like potassium and some other vitamins and minerals. And catnip has been used for a number of different things. Medicinally, one of the things it's probably most well known for is maybe first would be that it can be used as a tea to help relieve some anxiety. It's a relaxant, mild relaxant or sedative. It's also really good for like upset stomach, various upset stomach, like say if you've eaten too much or bloating or flatulence or gas, whatever, it can help relieve that. And I wanted to harvest some, particularly, I saw it and I was like, oh, I better get some more. I was really keen on it because I had a really bad back spasm somewhat recently, and you know, I'm not like, I try to avoid taking drugs if I can, but it was pretty bad. So I was taking some, and you know, I don't like all the side effects that come with them. And then I remembered, I don't know why I didn't think about it at first, but catnip is used for relieving some pain and muscle spasms. So I had the catnip tea, and you know, it could have been a coincidence, but I don't think so. As soon as I started on the catnip tea, the muscles really settled down, and the spasming really started to go away. So catnip is good for relieving spasms generally throughout the body, but muscle spasms and relieving some pain associated with things like that. So with that being said, I am going to harvest some, and I'll show you how I do it. The reason I'm planning to harvest right now is because you can see the flowers are not quite open. Maybe some of them would be opening, but they're just about to open. So to think about it, what the plant has done is it's put pretty much maximum energy into the leaves and just about into the flowers in order to prepare for flowering and producing seeds. So if I want to use those flowers, the coming flowers and the leaves, this is kind of like the maximum energy is in those parts right now. So that's why I want to harvest them. Oh, another thing that I forgot to mention is something, I haven't tried it, but dried catnip leaves have been used by some to smoke, and also similar for the tea as like a sedative or to like help relieve anxiety. Catnip is a perennial herb, so it will grow back if you harvest it. You know, as long as you don't rip the roots out, it'll come back, but it seeds very readily. So if you like, I probably let it go a little too much. I probably like it a little bit more than necessary, but if you want it and it's in your yard and you let it go, it'll come back and it'll spread quickly. So anyways, what I'm going to do is you don't have to be too picky, but I'm just looking for where the leaves look good and healthy. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it down at the bottom. It'll regrow. I'm going to take these, and then I'm going to go to the next steps. All right, so now I've got some cut down catnip and you know, it's a good way to control it, to use it. You know, it's gonna, this, I've cut this off, and that's a good part to use for what I want. But if you you know, let it grow and then cut the flowers off before they go to seed, then it'll keep your population a little under control. So a little bit of a pre-screening, pre-weeding, whatever. What I just do is just like take a look at the plant and just look for the parts that you think look best. And if you see things that you think don't look good, like if it's already died before I got there, then I probably don't want it. So this leaf, I'm not going to use it. Or if I look at other parts of it and I see, you know, like things like this, see how the leaf has got some little yellowing edges or whatever, it's a little bit dead there, then I probably don't want it. We don't have to be tolerant of all of the different catnip leaves here. It's catnip, it won't mind. I'll put them back in the compost and it'll all be good. But all the rest of these leaves, you know, if it's bug bitten, like plants that are kind of bug bitten, you know, this is pretty minor. There's a few little bites there, but I'm going to be picky and I'll just take that off because whatever. But typically, if you see a plant that's like really bug bitten and got lots of problems with it, that plant is probably stressed out and you maybe won't be as useful for, you know, food or medicine. But this one, otherwise, with a couple spots, looks pretty good. So I was just working through the catnip, and then I was thinking something, and I thought, oh, maybe I should record it. It's intimidating, I think, trying to do the, you know, plant medicine stuff. I should say I am not a doctor, and this is not medical advice. So, you know, I'm just showing you some things that I do, and, you know, you can do it if you want. I'll put, you know, sources in the description, so if you want to see them and look into it more, you can. But like, I think catnip's a good plant to try if you're unsure or if you're nervous, because it is pretty gentle. But like, don't try to, if you're new to trying this plant thing, then like, don't be too hard on yourself and just give it a shot, because like, you'll figure it out kind of as you go. There's lots of people you can look to for sources or inspiration, but like, you know, you can do it. It's I don't know, there's this right now in our world, it seems to me that there's a sort of a thought that you need experts for everything. And, you know, I'm not saying that you don't for some things, but sometimes you can be your own expert. And in my opinion, a lot of the time, you know your body and your situation better than anybody else. And you are also much more capable than sometimes I think our system will lead you to believe. So anyways, catnip's a good one to try, and just go for it. I've got most of the stuff that I thought was no good picked off my catnip, and now I'm just going to wash it. And what I like to do is I like to wash things twice, and because, I don't know, because I do. So what I'll do is I'll just speed it up and show you some of what I do. Like here, just take this, hold, and squeeze, and just pull. Oh, that one didn't work. Pull down the stem, and then most of it'll come off. And then if there's too much stem, I can go back. But sometimes it comes nicely, sometimes not so much. So if I've done a decent job of pulling the leaves and flowers off, it might look something like this in the end. You know, what I want generally is I want the younger leaves and the ones that look better. So I pull them off or whatever, and sometimes it doesn't quite work. So I don't really want the stems. So like if I find something like this, I might go back through, pick through a little bit more. But like when it gets to the end, you know, like little clusters like this with stem, like that's fine for me. So, you know, be as picky as you want to be. What I'm going to try to do, I wash one and then I wash again. And I haven't done this before. I'm going to try it. I think, why not? I'm going to try to use a salad spinner to just dry them off a little bit. Now, next step that I'm going to do is I'm just going to let them sit here on a towel for a little while. All right, I've got it out of the sink after the salad spinner, and I like to handle it multiple times because then I can, pick through and I can look for things that maybe I don't want. Like I can find that stem, take out a few extra stems, and then as I'm going through, you find little bits of things that maybe you don't want, like this one. I missed that leaf, so now I found it, I don't want it. Take it out. What I'm going to do, I've got this nice amount of catnip. I'm not sure how long this will last, but anyways, it's a good pile. So the next step for me is I'm just going to let it sit here for a little while. Maybe I would pat it with a towel, but I'll probably just leave it for a little bit to do a, pre-dry. And I'll probably turn it over after a little bit, but just leave it on the counter for a little bit. So here's the catnip. I just left it out for a little while, turned it around a little bit, picked out some more stems, found some leaves maybe that I didn't like. And what I might do if we had unlimited counter space and we didn't live life, then I might just leave it out, rotating it once in a while, and then let it dry that way. But we don't have unlimited counter space. So what I do, and we've done this with drying all sorts of other leaves, like using catnip leaves before, or mullein leaves, or raspberry leaves, or whatever, and it works really well. You just take the leaves, and I'll give credit to, I haven't heard it described by many people. It was my mom who told me, and it works so well. You just take the leaves and put them in a paper bag. And that's it. Put it in the paper bag and let it sit. And all you have to do is rotate, like after, say, a day, you just reach your hand in there, shake it around a little bit, or just take the bag, shake it, just so that it, rotates a little bit, and that's it, and it'll dry. It works great. And then all we did for storage is store it in a mason jar like this. And you need to make sure that you don't store it wet, because if it is wet at all, then it, it might go moldy or something. It'll look something like the dried leaves and flowers will look something like that. It'll sound something like that. That's when you know it's fully dry. And this is from last year, and I used it to make tea just a little while ago. I would say it's probably best for a year, but just keep an eye on it and it'll last. So there you go. That's what I would do to harvest, dry, and store catnip. And I've still got some, you can see it over my shoulder, there's still some left. I came out here originally, I needed to weed this garden, and then I saw there was all the catnip, and I was like, well, I better harvest it because I will likely use it later in the year. Since I cut it down and didn't pull it out, it'll grow back, and I'll probably be able to get some more in the fall or early winter if I want or need. For making the tea, which is how I usually use it, it's pretty straightforward. You take hot water, boiling water, pour it on top of the leaves and flowers, and let it sit there for maybe 3 minutes or 5 minutes, depending on what your taste is. Some people say it gets bitter if it's longer than 3 minutes. I usually let it sit for 5, but whatever, it's up to you. And I haven't made a new video for a while, so I just thought I'd say something. I see some comments, people saying, hey, where are you? Where's the new video? And I appreciate you for doing that. Thank you. It's tough to find time sometimes to make videos, so here I am. So I appreciate you guys reaching out and leaving comments like that, and hopefully I can make some more. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.